first, it's war. Public enemy number one, also known as the deep state, the mainstream media, the intelligence community, the establishment, and of course globalists and their mission to destroy President Trump at all costs now, and word that the administration is gearing up to fight back and tapping their wartime commander, if you will, Steve Bannon, to be the tip of the spear. Dan Bongino joins us now. Dan, the deep state has done a deep job, if you will, on the Trump administration. It's extraordinarily effective so far. Why is that? Why are they so powerful, and why can they push back against the will not only of the President of the United States, but the American people?
Well, one, Charles, because they don't want to leave. I mean, who better to talk about this than me? I was a Secret Service agent with access to the highest levels of power, and I resigned. I left because, frankly, I had some objections to what was going on. I didn't witness anything illegal, per se, but things I just disagreed with, and I walked out. But that's not what these people are doing. You know, I've seen this described in a number of places as a kind of soft coup. I don't disagree with that. They're staying within the government, collecting a taxpayer-funded salary to sabotage the administration. You know, these people have no guts. Have some guts and go and resign and stop collecting our money to destroy our livelihood. I mean, these are embeds, Charles. These people have civil service protection. They're embedded like ticks, some of them, and they're not going to go anywhere. They're going to destroy this administration and ride it out to the very end.
Now, of course, it feels like it's not just those embedded bureaucrats or Obama holdovers that are sort of, if you will, pushing back or even plotting against the Trump administration, but all the other entities and tentacles of power, these large globalist corporations, the mainstream media, even the intelligence community, which you would think would have a sort of higher calling, if you will. You know it very well. You understand it very well. Why is that happening?
Yeah, I see it right now as kind of a bifurcated problem. You know, I heard Charles Krauthammer on Fox. He brought up a good point. He said, you know, not all of this is the deep state. On one prong of the fork here, you have people in the Trump administration who've been hired who are selling out, being Judases to the Trump administration themselves and leaking to the press. But it's the other end of the fork, that other prong, that really bothers me, Charles. It's what you just said. It's the intel people. It's the leaks coming in the FBI investigation. Perfect example. What happened yesterday with this, Kushner so-called breaking news with the dreaded air quotes. What was the breaking news? That someone interviewed Jared Kushner about the Russia investigation? No kidding. Like, that's your news flash? It was an embarrassment. The story in that should have been the leak that Kushner was even interviewed, not the fact that he was he was interviewed. What's the big deal? That's not a story. The leak should have been the story.
Dan, are you excited about the stories, at least some scuttlebutt, that now the administration's going to fight back and perhaps Steve Bannon will take the lead on that?
You know, I am. I know Steve, and I suggested a while ago that they need a leak czar. You know, I'd like to see them bring in someone who has no attachment whatsoever to the political infrastructure, doesn't want to run for office, isn't looking for a promotion, but someone who come in there with some law enforcement background who's retired to weed these people out, Charles. It's not the political damage they're doing to Trump. That's bad enough. But what I'm worried about is the damage they're doing to the United States. Look what happened with the Manchester leaks. The UK doesn't even trust us anymore with intel information. This is hurting taxpayers and U.S. citizens. It's got to stop.